I said, Izzy, we just finished watching Final Fantasy Kingsglaive, the prequel movie for the video game Final Fantasy 15. Thoughts? Don't think too hard.
I liked it. I liked it a decent amount. So this is the first. I think this is not the first Final Fantasy I've seen. I've seen the last one, the one where they're in
Ravage?
like a ghost ship. It was like
Which
released
one?
a long time ago. It had like some ghosty things, and there was like ghosty monsters. I don't remember it being tied to any game, but it was Final Fantasy something. But anyways, with that, watching this one, it was like really pretty, and some of the scenes, like the animation quality, was like, mm, so
Your
good.
hands disappear every now and then.
Right here, I was looking right here. It's like they were really good. Like some scenes, I was like, is this a real actor? But then, like in some other scenes, kind of like the in transition scenes where nobody really cares. Like there was one scene where the police people were getting out of the cars, the armored trucks. I was just like, it doesn't quite look as good here. It looks a little more plasticky. But overall, I really liked the animation, the fight choreography. I thought they were really like inventive in how they were fighting. It wasn't just like I slash, you slash. It was like fucking throw the dagger, teleport, throw the dagger, teleport, slash, and then put a
Mm.
shield. And I really
It look
liked that. It was more creative, and there
it
wasn't
looks
like a
like
ton
your
of cut.
limbs are teleporting.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it looked like in the
Yeah,
film. It was
that
just
was the movie.
exactly.
Mm.
So I really liked that it was really well animated. The choreography was like creative. It wasn't generic. It didn't have a lot of cuts. Um, I didn't like some of the acting, particularly one character had pretty bad acting, and some of the
Artemis.
dialogue was just kind of yeah.
Well,
I don't even
it
remember his
wasn't
name because
actually
I didn't
acting
respect him.
though.
It's voice acting, Nick.
Oh, sorry. I
Still
thought you
acting.
meant acting. Sorry.
Stop being a voice acting elitist or an acting elitist. So that was one of the downers I thought, and the like general drop, not general drop, but like sometimes drop in quality. I think were like the biggest down parts. But overall, I really liked it. I thought it was really creative in how it did its magic, like how it visualized it at least, like the teleporting and the particle effects. It was just like a really nice treat to the eyes. So I think if I had to rate this overall, I'd probably give it like a 7.5 because I really enjoyed just watching it. The story was kind of it made sense. Like it wasn't anything like super spectacular, but it worked with what it was doing, and it didn't like blow me out of water. But I didn't have like any gripes, at least like story wise. There wasn't
To
any loopholes, or it wasn't too generic.
to be fair, there's also a short animated series called Final Fantasy 15 Brotherhood, and obviously the game itself too, which expands on the narrative and kind of like makes a lot of things click. But that's irrelevant. We're on a standalone
Yeah,
basis is what
yeah.
Like
I'm
Full Metal
coming from it
Brotherhood.
from a self complaint. Yes, like Full Metal Brother Alchemist, but
I like how I
um.
like how you're like it's okay, Nick. It's okay.
So overall, I really liked it. So I'm giving it a 7.5, and for Rotten Tomato, IMDb on the Izzy scale, it's a Zazzy, or yeah, it's a Zazzy. It's in Zazzy, maybe very hot simmering territory.
Just gonna nod. I never remember what your stuff stands for, so I'm gonna go with that seven
That's
and a half and
fine.
just
Everyone
nod.
knows.
Come on, everybody
Everybody.
knows. Izzy, what's the scale? What's the scale? Where does it start off?
Do I need a? Everybody, it's already like set in stone, Nick. But
We need
for those who
we
have
need
been
like
living under a rock, Patrick,
every like three
it's
episodes we need a refresher.
so we have the I in Izzy. You can't see I in Izzy for incredible. These are peak performance. Usually a 10 to a 9. These are best of the best. Then you have the first Z. There's two Z's. The first one is Zazzy, which is like from a 9 to like a 7.5, maybe an 8. Around that range. Depends. And then you have a Zimmering, which is it's kind of more broad. This one's like a 7 to a 4. It could be a hot simmering, you're making some tea, or it can be a low simmering. And then you have anything below that, anything below a 4 is a yeah, no. This is unregistered, uncertified, no.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
thanks.
don't watch it.
Thanks
No.
for the
That's
recap.
the easy scale.
I think this is the first time you've actually compared it against the number scheme. Usually you just go on to like large descriptions that you're like, what are you talking about, Izzy? but I understood it this
It's
time.
everybody knows it.
I
Everybody
understood it
knows it.
this
You don't
time.
need to explain.
I understood it.
Channel reference.
All
Coming
right.
soon in website form.
So now to the anime weeb master, Nick. What did you think?
Yes. I thought this movie was not that interesting. I thought that it looked pretty somewhat, but I don't like the art style at all. Because it's what 3D?
Like
Is it done in 3D? Yeah. I don't like how it
Yo,
looks.
he only likes 2D, guys.
No, China
Like
does
a
a really
true
good
weeb.
job with their 3D. But I don't know. I didn't really like how it looks, but that's just how I feel. Like I think in the game sense, it's okay, but like to actually watch it as a movie, I'm like, eh. I wouldn't recommend this movie to anybody personally. Um, like it has some
Dang.
cool cool parts to it, but to me, it was not interesting enough. And it just put a lot of things together. Like I do like Pacific Rim a lot, but I didn't really like how they put Pacific Rim with like all these other things happening at the same time. um, but to me, it's just not my type of movie. I'd probably give it like a 5 or a 6. Um, it's just okay.
That's
Yeah,
But
it did
I would
feel.
say, go ahead.
Oh, I
It
said
did
that's
feel like
higher
in
than what I
some
thought you were
parts.
gonna give it.
Go with
Okay,
you,
Izzy,
go.
go ahead. That's what I was trying to say.
I was just gonna make a quick comment that it did feel like in some scenes, like everything was mashed together. Like if you've never played like a Final Fantasy game before, it did feel like you were just combining like different sci-fi stuff, and it didn't like quite fit. But I think that's more of you get the benefit of having like if you played the games, you like it a bit more because you already know kind of how it is. But if you're coming in super fresh, like it just feels like a mishmash. Like it doesn't quite fit in properly.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it felt like. I forget what game there is. There's literally a game that just combines all these different types of like different genres. That's how it felt like to me. But like I said, it's also like I've never played any of those games. I was just like I figured coming in I'm like, "Oh, well, I already know I don't like how it looks." Just by looking at the picture. So I'm not really going to like this. And it takes like a lot for me to give you like lower than a 5 in a movie. You have to like be really bad or like completely be boring. So yeah.
Hmm.
I like it. I like it.
Murky.
Yeah. Overall, I liked it more than I thought it was actually. Unlike Nick, I did like the art style. Like I like the art style and I like the way things look, but there's something about this style in particular when they're like animating like the facial features, like it just doesn't quite like mesh. Like
Mm.
you lose some of the emotion in like their facial features, like because their eyes and eyebrows don't like move naturally, and like sometimes like their body movements were just kind of like awkward.
And their
Uh,
butts.
yeah, there's a lot of glare making butts look abnormally large.
But
Uh,
male
for
and
both
female butts.
male and female. So that it's just something about this animation style that always kind of that it, like a lot of I see this happen a lot in this type. But overall, like I like the way it looked. I like the action scenes. There was a lot of it. I would say like 75% of the movie is like teleporting. So if you like teleporting, like this is your movie.
They know how to think with
Compar-
portals.
Comparable to Jumper.
Yeah, comparable to Jumper. Um, I thought plot was. I mean, it was simple. It was good. I think I would have appreciated it a lot more if I would have played the series. Um, I've played like a few and like probably played like less than an hour in like Final Fantasy. So like I don't know much about the lore or the story behind it. So I think I would have liked it more if I would have played the games. Uh, but overall it's pretty good. I mean, I'll give it like a 6, 6.5 maybe.
It is on Game Pass.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is.
Don't do it, Ricky.
Uh,
You get a bit bored.
You don't know that.
Yeah, I think to add to Ricky's mention of that animation style, I think there was some. I don't know if it was really the animation style or the acting, but I felt like there was parts where the actor would like scream something, but the animation was just like, ah, ah.
Yeah.
instead of like.
Um,
I felt like some stuff didn't like, but I don't know who to blame on that one. So I'm just blaming the entire.
there's I forgot to mention the voice acting. That's one thing I didn't really like all that much. Well, particularly the chubby friend. The chubby friend, I did not like his
That,
voice acting.
that's
He was
basically who
bad.
Izzy called out.
Everybody else had like some moments where they were bad, but he was like
Bad
always
throughout.
bad.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's like the one voice actor. I'm like, can probably cut him out and probably be a better movie. But yeah, I think that's my analysis on the movie.
What about you, Andy?
So with me, I did come through finishing the game multiple times. Really, it's a whole deal with some parts of the game were incomplete that they had to redo certain chapters and whatnot. But that's neither here nor there. But looking at this game, I do game movie. I do admit that it feels a lot more complete knowing more of the background and what's going on with the overall arching story with it. So it kind of feels a little bit better coming from the game to watching this now, even though this is more of a prequel and more of a half prequel, half going on towards like during during the game. But if I have to look at it just like standalone, um, there are issues. Honestly, like I'm very used to that 3D animation style, so that doesn't bother me. I tend to like it more. Uh, the I didn't notice a lot of the glares. I guess my eyes were focusing on overall the scene, but
He's
Showing
already
off his
trained to
butt.
see those glares on those butts already.
I'm not saying anything against people who might like razor in on like certain aspects and then like come back out, but voice acting
It's hard not to notice.
voice acting
Mm.
for sure. I definitely say it is probably the voice acting was better with the more important this character was to the story. Um, other than that, the flow was decent. You kind of knew more or less what was happening. It was a whole like a of scheme to downfall of the country with like one guy coming in sacrificing himself to pass the torch to the future kind of thing. Um, I think standalone, I'd give it like kind of a 7.5. Probably give it an 8 if you count with knowledge from the game. But musics did set the tone pretty well for parts of the movie. And yeah,
That's what
that's
made you
about.
cry, right?
Oh, dude, so cry. It was like actually the sprinklers went off in my apartment here, and then kind of like I was like wiping. I had to wipe because it's coated with salt to better like
Yeah.
put out the fires, so it's kind of burned. So
Oh
I have to
yes.
like rub. I have to like rub it so the salt won't get into my eyes and like agitate. So
Mhm.
A lot of tears, basically.
yeah, created by the fire sprinklers.
Natural tears.
Uh, shut up. I know how you reacted with Hachiko, so
Oh, I'm not ashamed of that. That is a sad ass movie. I
you
would
need to
cry 10 times in a row.
you need to calm down there, son.
It is very
But
sad.
I think that about wraps it up for our review of this movie.
Alright, y'all. Well, thanks for watching and listening to our review. Catch
Smash
us.
that like button.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta aim everywhere.
Write your thoughts in the comments, wherever that is.
Yeah.
Tell us what you thought of the
don't.
movie,
Yeah.
You don't gotta listen to them.
or don't watch it. It's okay.
And catch the
And
next
watch
episode.
last week's episode.
Oh yes,
Ooh.
yes, that too.
If you don't like listening to Izzy telling you to not listen to anybody, go ahead write we do not negotiate with terrorists in the comments.
Oh god.
Are we doing that now?
What?
Was that in this
I
last
don't
video?
know.
I don't know. Izzy always says we do not negotiate with terrorists. I'm pretty sure you can find it in like any. Look anywhere where anybody wants an alliance with Izzy that Izzy's not starting it. He's gonna be like, we do not negotiate with terrorists.
That's also life advice for our viewers. Do not negotiate with
So,
terrorists.
very much so. Thank you for bringing that up, Ricky.
I mean, like, yeah. I mean,
If
Bye.
a terrorist ever comes to you, wait, Nick. If a terrorist ever comes to you, don't negotiate. Never give them what they want.
Nick,
Especially if they're the king from Niflheim. Niflheim.
Niflheim.
You know the place.
No,
from
but I.
Canada.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Thanks for watching
ya.
and checking out the SSG Cruise review. Later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.